Hello everyone, welcome back to Pommyinoz. I hope we're all doing really well. We're back after just a bit of a break in the bye. So that means that we haven't had really anything to call upon, which is good if you're a Carlton fan. If you are new around here though, and you are returning, and you are a long-time Pommyinozer, please give it a like, give it a share on your socials, and if you are new, welcome, and please drop a subscribe, please hit that notification bell. It really does help the channel out, and we are growing at a rapid rate. What we're talking about today is Carlton's crunch game with GWS over in Sydney on Saturday at 7:25, Giant Stadium, and it should be a ripper game because both clubs at the moment, they are struggling. They're in a bit of a knock of form, and it's going to be a real crunch tie, particularly with GWS just playing their get out of jail free card last week against North Melbourne. Carlton obviously rested, and it's going to be a really intriguing battle this. The teams have just dropped. I've delayed this video because I want to try something a bit new, but let's talk about this game. What we know about GWS is they're kind of they're like Jekyll and Hyde in this competition. They can play really good footy 1 minute, and then the next minute they can be absolutely obscenely bad. And it's going to be really intriguing to see how Carlton match up because their midfield is very, very strong. And there's some players in there that traditionally against Carlton in the last 5 have done really well. One of them is Kelly. Now Kelly, he averages 35 touches against Carlton, 5 marks and 6 tackles from his 3 games. Whitfield's another one, 1.3 goals, 28 touches and just under 10 marks, which is amazing. And Mr. In form for them, Tim Taranto, averages 3.7 tackles, 5.3 marks and 22 touches. And that's going to be a really intriguing little call there. Them 3 there, they attend a lot of their centre bounces. They're really, really a well-oiled machine. It's going to be really intriguing. Now, we do know as well, Matt de Boer has the better of Cripper. 4 games, Cripps has come against GWS, 18.8 touches, 5.8 tackles, no goals, 2.3 marks. And it's really a testament to their system. They're really good at alleviating one bloke. And that is what they'll be really core focusing on against Carlton. Definitely Cripper will be someone they look at, and Sam Walsh will be another one. And we know Walsh is in a real good form. Now, the GWS Giants, they've been a bit of a middle-of-the-road team here. Their clearances, they're top 5 for that. They do very well at getting clearances to advantage as well, in the top half for that one as well. Key guys, obviously, as we know, Tim Taranto, 29.4 touches. Marks-wise, Lockie Whitfield has been killing it, 8.5, and Toby Green's their threat up forward, 2.3 goals a game and 4.8 hit-outs. It's going to be a very interesting little battle there because Carlton just above them in clearances, but way down on clearances to advantage. And both of these sides do kind of at times are guilty of really taking it off the midfield pressure. Obviously, GWS will have to worry about Sam Walsh. Harry Mackay, 3.2 goals. And obviously, Doc's ability to get in and around the contest will be intriguing. Now, let's here take a look at what we may see play out in this game. So, what we'll talk about first is the battle of the midfield. So, I would expect around these centre contests, we're going to see something like this. We're going to see Matt de Boer definitely come in, and I would expect probably what they often do is they rotate their Hoppers, Tarantos, Whitfields and Wards and Kellys all across that half forward and wing, and then pinch hit on the ball. Particularly Whitfield is one of the few players that does play about 50-50 on the wing and on the ball. Now, I think the way that GWS try and get it through is, say they win the tap here and it drops down. Right now, usually they've got Mummy, and Mummy usually occasionally takes this and gives it straight away, but they try and smash and bash their way through. They're not one of the more heavy kicking sides. They try and make these run-ins in spaces. Now, how they'll try and get that here is, I would suspect what you'll see is something like this. So we'll have Ed Kerner, the 2 number 2s will be on each other in this formation. Now, I reckon Matt de Boer here, his whole aim in this one here, and I think he'll go to Cripps because I think even though they know Walsh is dangerous, Hopper, Ward and Taranto are very good defensively as footballers. So this is why De Boer's always that jewel in the crown for them. And he's going to just basically be trying to stop this angle. And this is something that De Boer does very well. He's very handsy as a footballer. And that will create this open channel here. Now, what we've noticed this year about GWS is that they have a pattern here. Now, what happens here is genuinely, whoever's playing half forward, so in this scenario here, Kelly is playing across half forward, and genuinely Green comes from very deep. He will actually be looking to run this lane here, and Kelly will be running to this lane here. Now, with Carlton, I would suspect you'll see your backs look like this. I reckon you'll have Sard here. I reckon Williams will go to Green. And I reckon that will be predominantly how they set up, because genuinely they set up something like this. Something like this across their half forward is their traditional positions. And you've got Green usually on there. And I reckon that he will be taken probably by Z-Will. Now, generally what you find out from the stoppages is that they try and intersect. So Finlayson comes here, and you'll find that Green will either come from deep across this avenue, or he'll come across half forward and come up here. Now, what has happened quite often is when this happens, Carlton's, obviously their zonal systems causes into effect. So when you've got these merging runs, these guys get confused. And this is where Parks, I think, will take Finlayson, because this is going to be a very important thing, because what happens genuinely here is Green is their leading inside 50 getter, and so is Himmelberg as their goal assist. And these two try and get to this position and look to hit up inside 50. Now, if Green gets it here, genuinely what he's doing is he's looking to play it into the centre square, is very quickly trying to create that mismatch. Or what you'll find is Himmelberg takes it here and they just crowd there. But this is going to be where we're going to really see Carlton's zonal system, because it's going to be really important that these guys communicate, because Himmelberg and Wheaterid is going to be a really key matchup. Now, what it does though, and it's going to be very interesting, is GWS do this really well, and Carlton try and do this, and that is they try and funnel the ball where they want it to go. Now, ideally in this setup, if we take them back to where they'd start on the centre bounce, what Carlton want to happen is you'll find that the way GWS operate is they kind of anticipate where the ball goes. So if the ball is heading towards this area, what you find is these guys start to crowd the centre, and it becomes a mini congestion period. Now, I would like to see here, this is where Jones comes in, and Briggs will go to the goal square, and as this ball comes in here, say we've got Green here, he picks it up here, just outside 50, he's going to be looking to play it along this area here, and that's where Jones can get this, and Carlton can start to roll this way, and we're out. And that is where GWS have been caught. But traditionally, they like to tackle this side here, this left-hand forward flank here, and that is usually where Green will operate, Kelly will operate, and they kind of really do change that up as well quite often in the game. You'll see multiple changes down that forward left-hand side. Now, Carlton, on the other hand, what we're going to be looking into, and we're going to talk about how we'll beat them here, right, is Carlton genuinely look, if there isn't this ball here, so say Cripper gets free, if there isn't this ball here, and I think Walsh will play a bit more wider this week, and I think there's a reason why, because with Kennedy coming in, it looks like we're really going to be up for that centre bounce. We're going to be really looking to contest this area really strongly. And I reckon you're going to see probably more of this. Cripper coming here, and we've started to see this quite a bit. These guys intersect, and then Walsh is out. Now, this is where the strength of GWS can also be their weakness. Now, what you'll find here is I'd imagine Davis will go on Mackay, definitely. Now, I reckon Buckley, yeah, something like this. And I reckon that you'll have Haynes, and what they genuinely do is they'll have Buckley, who's been playing that second tall, and that'll either be TDK or JSOS in this example. Probably going to be TDK for a lot of the game as well. Now, what they try and do here is Haynes, Perryman and Cummins are very, very proficient intercept markers. Now, what they do is they gravitate towards the ball. So what we're going to be seeing here is probably something like this. Usually we hit it up at centre-half forward. Now the trick here for Carlton is Haynes will try and get involved. And this is where we're looking at the taps and our ground game. Our ground game's got to be on point. So I would be expecting to see Eddie really push up here and hoping for the little crumb down, and he can just work his little magic there. And it's about locking it in, because the secret of GWS is they play a very attack the ball kind of defence, and it comes unstuck as we saw against North Melbourne. Haynes, Perryman, Cumming, very similar type of players in the terms of they really look to get that intercept, because they like to hit off half back. You see, Whitfield here is going to be a real anomaly, because he'll some weight times be here, and they'll have his elite kick down there. And also you'll see that Connor Adunn's there as well, very good little player as well in his own right. Sam Reed's very proficient at locking down these smalls, but it's going to be a real battle of the smalls on both ends of the park, because both sides are susceptible to that small stuff particularly. Now, how do Carlton stop this? Now really this here is all going to be a game for Carlton on discipline. What we're going to be seeing here is I think you will see these kind of matchups moving into the forward 50. I think you'll see, I think Williams will get a bit of green. I hope not to see Stocker there. Stocker's probably going to be better serviced here, probably on Lloyd. And then you've got the Bobby Hill answer, and genuinely someone's going to have to take him. At the moment it looks like Stocker's becoming the new ploughman. I'd imagine that I'd prefer to see, and if this was me picking the team, prefer to see Newman here and really looking to offload this, because the trick is here is that they're a more kick mark side. So if the ball hits the deck, we're looking for Newman, and this is where you find, especially in the attacking phases, you find looking at their average positions, they really do play a real high press. And what they try and do to try and lock it in is they kind of play a very deep wall. It's almost like that. It's almost like they line it up here. Now this is where they really do try and protect the corridor. So this is where we'll be looking really to get these blokes involved. Your Sards and your Williamses and your Newmans are looking for real quick exits, because what they do is they really pattern kind of around this. There's like little, it's almost like a minefield defensive play where they're really covering stages of space when you watch it. And this is where Carlton, if they're wise, they'll utilise their handball. They'll be looking for these little short kicks followed by someone coming through and looking to attack this space, because once you break this line here, they're half forward, like forward pressure, you are out, and then it's basically a foot race down the back. And that is what I would be expecting here as well, is you find Davis is usually the deepest back. You want Harry to really live here, really cause them to get rid of that line and abort it. All in all, this is going to be a really great game and a real great matchup of two sides that probably are playing the best of football, and someone will be played into form this week. And Carlton have got to get that right. It's really essential that, one, we cope with their forward pressure and we cope with their system and really look to utilise the handball and use our pace. This is actually, I would say, one of the slower sides Carlton have put out there, because they've gone to try and win that contested ball. But we have got the energy off halfback to hurt them. And in the centre clearances, to really use Ed Kerner and Cripper to really do what Matt DeBoer does for them, and that stops running patterns and stops channels, and try and get the ball to Walsh, because Walsh can cut them apart as well with Jackie Martin. Should be a really intriguing game. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Be looking forward to seeing as well Doc on that wing, because I think Doc and Fogarty are going to have a really important job. Let's see how it plays out. Please join me, Blue Abroad, Saturday evening for the watch along. I'll be there. Look forward to it. Pom out.